VFW Post 8006, and it was chartered on July the 27th, 1946. And what we're doing right now, we're in the process of raising money, raising awareness for our 75th anniversary, which will take place July the 23rd, 24th, 25th of 2021, with or without COVID. Doesn't matter. At this point, we're going to celebrate the 75th anniversary of one of the oldest established VFWs in the state. Currently, right now, in Western Mass, there's probably only 2 or 3 other ones. Out of 17 that belong to the district, there's only a couple of us with physical buildings. And this building, it's an old building, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let the COVID or anything else stop us from celebrating our 75th anniversary. It is also one of the largest buildings for VFW. The district and state officials come in, they hold a lot of meetings up here. And so, as you can see, you're going to have plenty of room for the deal, the podcast. I myself, I served in Vietnam. I served in 1967 and 68. I served with the 1st Air Cavalry Division, Air Mobile Helicopters, and I was infantry, and I walked point for 6 months on the ground. I was there for Tet Offensive of 68, and after I got injured, I got sent back to the rear, and I did a lot of helicopter duty.
Yeah, kind of
Totally.
In
In order to keep the lights on, we have to keep the bar going too. And the COVID really hit us hard. We closed March the 18th, and we weren't able to open back up again legally until, I don't know, just a couple months ago. We have our Thanksgiving dinner coming up. Again, we're going to do that come hell or high water. We open the doors to anyone that wants to come in for a free meal. We'll even give you takeout, especially now. You know, come in, grab a meal. There's no questions asked. We don't care if you're a veteran or down home. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Come in, and as long as the food's there, availability, you know, as long as we don't run out. We started on Thanksgiving Day. We start right around noontime, and we'll serve up until 4 or 5 o'clock that afternoon.
75th anniversary.
Yeah.
So how long have you been a part of the VFW?
Me, myself?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. 10, 11, 12 years probably. For the longest time I stayed away. When I came back from Vietnam, I'd seen enough, I'd done enough, and, you know, been there. Joe can attest to it. Joe was in overseas, Iraq, right? Or Afghanistan.
Last stop, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Before that, multiple stops.
He was medic. Those guys see their shit. I'd had enough. I'd seen enough, so I stayed away. And actually, what happened, 9/11 kind of woke me up a lot. And then I started talking to some buddies, some guys up on the hill, the VA. I jumped in with both feet. A few years back, I even conducted a bus tour for a busload. 52 of us went down. We brought World War II and Korean War veterans, all free of charge, to the memorials in DC. We brought them down there for 4 days, all expenses paid. We went out and raised some money. It's called the Veterans Council in Northampton, which I'm a part of, and we raised, in 6 months, we raised $26,450, and it was more than enough to cover the expenses for all those guys and women. There were a couple of female participants. And since that time, we've lost 13 of them, so that's how I feel. I mean, I know what the veterans have gone through. I know what Franny Robles has gone through. Franny knows what I've been through. Joe knows what I've been through. I know what Joe's been through.
So this is,
I know just in this building, the sacrifices that these guys that came back from World War II in 46, and they decided to put together a VFW. Now, a lot of the work that was done in this building was done by them. So you can tell. I mean, you can go down cellar and you can see the old plumbing and the old wiring, but they did it. All these guys stuck it out. They did it. They did it. They stuck it out, had their families here, entertained each other, what have you. You know, we had a bar downstairs. There were some war stories I heard about, guys falling backwards off a freaking bar stool, getting back up, and that's how it was. I think it's a common denominator once you become a member of the VFW that been there, done that thing, and, oh, you're VFW, we know what it takes to get in here. So we know what you've done and where you've been away from your family, been away from your friends. So this place got a history, and in my heart, I'm not going to let this blood, all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into this place go down the hill. I'm not going to let COVID stop it. We're doing everything we can to keep it going. Like I said, downstairs at the bar, yeah, sometimes we slide under the radar and let people in the back door, but hey, they're good to us and they're helping us pay the bills. We still have a mortgage, still got electric, still have the gas company on our back, still have to heat the building. This place has a storied history. One of our veterans years ago lost his son in Vietnam. I'm not going to say the name. And he couldn't bear it anymore. Downstairs in the front of the building, he committed suicide. He couldn't bear to not have his son anymore. And he was a World War II veteran.
Well, that was just kind of a quick synopsis of the interview with Commander Tom that I took on Thursday. Yeah, so this is kind of the last chance. I think we have 5 hours left. Raffle tickets are still on sale. I mean, he gives an incredible story about what the VFW does for not just the veterans in the community, but for everyone else. And it's just, it was a touching story. So I'm going to bring in my good friends RA and Steve from Providence. How's it going, boys? How you doing?
Steve is muted.
Steve, you're muted.
Yeah, the commander sounds like he'd be a lot of fun at a party. Jesus Christ.
That was
Guy was getting mad at
a lot
telling
of
the
laughs.
story.
A lot of laughs.
What's the odds that his favorite movie is Gran Torino?
It's like pretty high. Seems like a good guy, but holy shit, that was a lot to unpack. We couldn't have picked a better clip.
Well, I mean,
did you tell him your joke about the parrot?
What?
Jesus, Justin.
A lot of laughs.
well, I mean, what, you thought I was going to go there and ask him, just, hey, and he's just going to be like, yeah, we're doing our thing.
Jesus,
I don't know.
Trying to raise money for the guy. I mean, obviously they're struggling, and he's not going to go there. And
Well, yeah, but I don't need to hear about World War II vet blowing his brains out front. Like,
I mean, I mean, I guess we just live with the luxury where we don't have to deal with that. And they have to deal with that.
I guess.
I like how we went into the story about how he liked lighting rice patties on fire.
No, stories of rice patties on fire. Jesus Christ. Well, anyway. I don't know.
Love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yeah, that was quite the funny interview there. It was
that was
right
a lot
there.
of laughs.
Great job, Justin.
Great promotion.
But
who wouldn't want to go there?
Did you guys check out the Periscope and you saw the kind of saw the place?
Yeah, it's tip top.
It's clean as a whistle.
Yeah,
I would rather eat off that floor inside the studio.
I'd rather eat beans out of the toilet.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of space up there. It should be.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of room.
I will say, I don't think any of those VFW guys know what a podcast is.
No.
Oh
no.
Yeah. That's the shocker.
Either that or a mop. No one.
Some Lysol.
So
Someone should have to clean that for some tickets. Like screw their bathroom. Holy shit. It's a fucking dump.
Well, all the raffle tickets, maybe they'll hire a maid. Maybe Carabas' mom.
Maybe.
The funny thing that he said was, if you go downstairs, you can tell it was built by the guys in the 40s, and that was the last time, ironically, they cleaned this building.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Is this the new Giggle Fest on the channel now? Now that Minnesota Intel's gone, we have to have a Giggle Fest.
All right. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
fine.
I'm
Ruin
just
our
mad.
fun. Sorry. Let's go back to Commander Tom.
His son served in
Love the smell of
Vietnam.
napalm.
His son, yes. All right. His
Yeah.
son-
So anyway, so for those that don't know, the VFW is more than just you can't just be a vet to get in. You have to have received combat pay, which pretty much means you had to have been fired upon or fired towards the enemy. It's it's just a bunch of guys who risked their lives for the country, and they're struggling right now because of COVID. And so that's what this whole this whole
This is gonna be a
raffle,
Giggle
this whole
Fest now,
live show-
Justin, huh?
this whole raffle and this whole live show is going towards.
Yeah.
But
But Kat said you didn't have to be a member. Like you didn't have. You could just be like an auxiliary member.
so an auxiliary member is from what he told me was like I can't be like you have to know an actual member in order to become an auxiliary member. You have to have a relative or someone close to you, a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, who is a member of that VFW. So you can't just go in and say, I'd like to become a member of the VFW.
Oh.
You kind of have to be brought in by someone else who was already inside there. And I think they said they have 96 auxiliary members now, and they're only down to like 30 some registered.
Unfortunately, like for those rules are pretty much outdated.
Yeah.
That's when they were also receiving, and that goes for a lot of them around the country, when they were receiving a lot of support from ex-members of the military. As time go on, they're gonna probably, in order to stay alive and stay afloat, they're gonna probably have to get rid of a lot of those rules that they used to go by as far as how tough it was to get a membership.
It's tough because I know, Steve, you were a Marine. Were you
Yes.
did you ever receive combat pay? Are you eligible for?
Nope.
So
It's a
it's,
different kind of combat in Okinawa. You know what I
400
mean?
400-pound
He was
ladies.
fighting off those beached whales.
It's
Stacked them 10 high in Okinawa.
So it's a very exclusive group. All the guys there kind of, they all know what each other have been to. They really haven't, they don't really talk about their experiences because they lived it. But it's anyway. So you guys buy any tickets for the VFW?
Yes, of course.
I did.
Listen,
I bought two
one.
tickets, and then I also had donated through our the OG shows the little game we had.
Nice.
But I can't even go. So if I win, someone else is going to get the ticket.
Nice. So I kind of have an odds calculator here in which I'm going to. So this right here is I don't know how many tickets were sold. I don't know if there was 5,000 tickets sold, 10,000 tickets sold. I'm just going to go based off of 2,000 tickets sold. I feel like that is a good ballpark from where they are. So if you buy one ticket right now, you have a 2.15% chance of getting inside.
Ooh.
And then you can just kind of see, you can double the 44 to see whatever, if you bought 10 tickets, it would be 440. And so you would have an 18.3% chance of winning one of the tickets.
Okay.
The live show is much more exclusive, as you can see. I mean, you have a 0.1% chance. That's just if you bought one ticket. If you bought 10 tickets, that's 20. You have pretty much 1% chance. If you bought 10 tickets, you have a 1% chance. Because some guy messaged me and said, what is the amount I need to donate to guarantee that I can have a spot doing a show with Kirk? And I never replied to him, but if he's watching, I believe if he purchases 10,000 tickets, he has a 90% chance of going.
Okay.
So
That's kind of what LK did, right?
yeah, I mean, well, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
we know him as he's truthful man. He's not a liar or anything like that. He said he bought 1,000 tickets, not 10,000. But good for OK. I mean, supporting the vets like that.
Was more than happy to collect those retweets.
Yeah,
More
no,
than
Oh, he was thrilled. He retweeted everyone who started patting him on the back.
it was
It's weird how that happens.
It was very nice. So anyway, if you want to pretty much guarantee yourself a spot on the show with Kirk, if you buy 10,000, or if you buy, let's see here, if you buy how many would that be? That would be about little less. If you buy a little less than 1,000 tickets, like 900 tickets, you have a 95% chance to get into the show, not to host the show. But that's just kind of a just a little recap.
Was there anything more maddening than listening to Carabas try and break down?
Oh,
on
that
phone
was
call?
very. It was
Literally
very
upsetting.
Like, he had no idea what was going on. He was like, "Oh, you should vet people first," and I was thinking to myself, like, well, if you vet people, that's just going to lead to people who get vetted and don't get picked to just be bitching. If what if they buy 10 tickets? I mean, we're all crazy in our own little way. Sure. But I think Carabas is just inside the world of baseball right now. All he cares about is the Tampa Bay Devil Rays versus the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Sure.
So it's anything else you guys want to say about the VFW? I know it's a very special. What do you want to say, Steve?
I got nothing. I really don't.
Okay.
I found how do I say this? Like, I know the situation with it, and I know the commander has seen a lot in his life. I try and find a little bit of joy in this stuff, and I did. And I'm sorry.
Oh, I just want to blur there. But yeah, so before we get started on the real stuff, tonight's your last chance to buy tickets. Kirk and Steve are drawing. I think they're going to be drawing like 11 or so a day up until Thursday, starting with Sunday night. So if you want to go, there's a the link is in the description to go buy some tickets. But so let's start off. First, let's start off with the elephant in the room. I fucked up this week. I fucked up big time.
You fucked up.
I fucked up big time. It was not good. So for those of you that don't know, Steve let me know. He said, "Hey, let the YouTubers know Will is off the channel," and so I did that. The next day, Steve said something on the podcast that wasn't jest; it was a joke. I, for some reason, took it seriously. I tweeted out a screenshot of what Steve sent me and my response, and I was trying to pull like a fast one on Steve. I don't understand where I was coming from or why I would try to do this. It was a stupid decision. It was fucking moronic. I won't do it again. I feel like I was in a spot where I no longer care what people think of me, in the sense of I don't care if I want to be liked by the Minifans, by John from Scram, by Minsell and Tell, by typical dummy, all these people. If I want to be a part of the show or be a part of the group that helps behind the scenes, I can't care about these certain things. And it's something that I realized, something that I've come to terms with. It won't happen again. I tried calling Steve on Thursday because I was listening to the podcast on the way down to Western Mass, and I heard that and a little shit my pants a little bit. Tried calling him, he didn't answer. I sent him a text message. We corresponded. It's definitely going to take some time. I completely understand why I'm not in a position to be trusted right now. It was a complete fuck up on my part. I don't know what else I can say. I just promise it won't happen again. And so that's kind of where it comes from. That. Do you guys have any opinions or?
You're killing me tonight. How many times have you ever seen Steve or Kirk post text messages of back and forth with maybe listeners or something like that? How many times have you ever seen?
None.
I have. I've never seen it.
I've seen it once. When we were going undercover for Blind Mike's dinner. And he basically highlighted names instead of redacting them.
All right. Well, that was a little different. But I would say
very different. But that's the only time.
What you should do, you got to keep it fact. You're not a fan anymore. You are a worker.
I completely agree.
You should try maybe taking some examples of how they conduct themselves, and maybe you should use that for yourself.
I 100% agree.
I mean, it's just a shitty thing to do anyways. Even if it's not with, Steve, I guess would be your supervisor if Kirk is your boss.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like, it's a shit thing to do anyways.
Both my boss.
Yeah, so you got boss and boss, and to do it to your buddy is a shit thing to do,
Yeah, you're a shitty person.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Pretty much. Yeah, no.
I thought you had rhino skin, but you let the 6 people in the world who don't like you
soft. Fucking soft.
Soft as fucking baby poop, Justin.
Yeah,
Jesus
so I think
Christ.
So from now on, I'm just not going to let that affect me because I feel like that really brought down. I don't want to say that's what brought down Mike, but I feel like one of Mike's downfalls was that he really did care about how people felt about him and things like that. And it's just you just can't put yourself in a position to want to be like, what is so funny?
I don't know why he's just laughing at you.
I'm sorry.
He's just mocking you.
I was just
This is
smelling.
a test.
I was just smelling my fingers for something.
Oh, okay.
Did you have a whale over earlier? Or what's going on?
Nothing.
That's not too convincing.
Well, anyway, okay. Well, Jesus
Moron.
Christ, Steve, I don't know. You just come on here just to.
Bust balls,
To
yeah.
brag about your sex life?
No, I'm not. You guys.
So I don't know if you
Alright.
guys have anything else to say about that. I think it's going to be a bit for me to regain that trust. I don't know if it will ever be regained.
I think it's
but,
bad that you lost trust. I'd rather be fired than lose trust. 'Cause
Uh,
at least then you were on the ground floor and you got fired, but now there's like no hope, you know?
Yeah, I would rather not lose trust in my first week of being employed. I think. I'd
Yeah,
rather,
then
you know. But hey, whatever, man. Hey,
Yeah.
I mean,
So, I mean-
you do you, I guess.
What do
But
what do the kids say? You do you.
yeah,
you do you, man.
I mean, yes. So I'm, just trying to move forward, go along.
Yeah.
So it's.
See, you seem a little rattled. That's all.
Yes, it did rattle me, and it should have rattled me. It should have
You can't be
rattled me.
rattled though. You just can't.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the fact, like the repercussions of what I did. Not
No, I know, but even then, you gotta stay cool, calm, and collected. You know,
Yeah. So
shit gets you.
I talked to Steve. Won't happen again.
Do you
So-
plan on taking an absence from the show to go to?
Do you have to learn how to not post text messages?
No,
So not-
Is there a camp for that?
Is there
Not
a
anytime
camp for
soon.
not being stupid?
No, I do think they
It's
have.
called-
I do think they have camps, but I'm not sure. I'd I don't know, but it's so that's what I have to say about that.
Okay.
If you guys have any other points to say,
No, it's just dumb. But
yeah, it's
How's
just
that?
stupid. But speaking of camps, I did talk to one blind Mike today.
how's he doing?
He's doing okay. I like that he's coming to me with questions about medication, but it scares me at the same point.
Oh,
Do you think you should be talking about this? Did you ask him if it was okay if you discuss?
Yeah.
All right. Because I mean,
All right.
like, you know, already.
I mean,
Like,
we
we
didn't
just
talk.
talked about like you're not being a dick, and then you're just like, well,
Yeah,
anyways, here's
no.
some juicy gossip.
No, I mean, we just talked, and like he's just asking me like, hey, have I been on similar medication he's going on? It's
it sounds like you're the worst friend on the planet.
Damn, dude,
well,
I'm telling you shit.
like I said, so he's coming to me asking me about things.
Yeah.
I just hope he's getting just the right medical advice when this all comes to that, and that's really all I have to say on the mic front. But yeah.
Did he
so-
give any indication on an ETA?
No.
Because I think that's the juiciest information that people are looking.
Nope. We
for,
just
not
talked.
necessarily what
We
he's
just
on.
talked. Yeah. How's things going? I'm just making sure.
Did he reach out to you, or did you reach out to him?
He reached out to me.
Really? Do you think
Wow.
there's any animosity because you are taking his salary now?
I'm not taking a salary, and I do not. No, I don't think I talked to him. Like, I mean, I reached out to him last week. He reached out to me today. I mean, I think he just had a question about a certain medication that he just got prescribed, and he just was.
No offense. What the fuck would you know about medication?
Oh,
You're a
I've been on it
psychiatrist,
for 8 years. I mean, I will see that.
No,
That's
it's not
that's
working
my
if you're
thing. It's
posting,
like,
screenshot
Mike,
of
like,
people's
I-
personal text messages.
like-
But
Mike, I love you to death, but like hopefully your doctor is explaining this well enough.
yeah, if you have to reach out to intern Justin for medical advice, you want to switch up your doctor.
No offense.
Listen,
but-
Doc, I'm sure you're right and everything. I just gotta check. I just gotta double check with my guy. I'm sure you got medical degrees. I got a guy. His name's intern Justin. He's been on this shit for like 5 years, maybe 10 years. All right. I'm sure he knows more about this.
Oh, well, anyway, that's
didn't Justin just like lose his mind like a year ago or something like that?
Yeah, what the fuck? Like,
who are you?
yeah,
fucking-
no, and it was
Didn't you like try and, like-
January where it
didn't
was.
you,
I was
like-
actually coming off a medication, and I was coming off a medication. I was having these terrible withdrawals. It was terrible.
I know it's no fun being withdrawn off medication.
No, it's not. But
No
enough
bueno.
about that.
Trust
So,
me, I empathize
What do you mean?
with
What do you mean? Not enough about that? Like, I want to talk more about it. Like,
sure, you want to talk about withdrawing from medication? Effexor
why
is a
not?
bitch. So I was on 225 milligrams.
Justin,
of
really,
Effexor.
no one really cares.
Of what? I'm curious.
I
So-
want to know what you were coming off of to try and make yourself like want to run yourself over with your car. Like, I'm curious.
Effexor. It was Effexor. I mean,
Effexor.
in case you really need to know.
What kind of- I'm interested in this sort of stuff.
But
Got plenty of mental health issues.
so Sunday night, I tried call screening. You know, Steve called me up and said, "Hey, let's do some call screening." Kirk
Sure.
wasn't a big fan of it. It was it seemed to kind of get a mixed reaction with the audience. Steve at first, he told me, he's like, "Hey, just make sure people aren't just listening. Just make sure they have not any like golf course questions." So I was kind of writing a quick description. Then Steve texted me. He said, "No descriptions. Just check to see if they're good." So I would just go, "Hey, it's Justin. Do you have a question for Kirk? You have a question for Kirk?" And they'd go, "Yep." And I go, "Okay, I'll put you online." And then I tell them like the thing with like it when it beeps you're on and shit like that. But I think that was ixnayed because the next couple of days I texted Steve. I was like, "Hey, if you need me to call screen," he just never got back to me. So I think Kirk kind of put an end to the call screening. I think that would be better for remember when Kirk did that movie show?
Yeah.
On YouTube. I think call screening would be more when there's a certain subject that needs to be talked about, instead of people the phone lines, you can really call in and you can, pretend to be Elmo. You can pretend to be fucking Hunter Biden. You can pretend to be anyone. You can be a normal person. And it's just, I just don't know if call screening is the best way to do it. It's the best.
You are truly an abortion in life. Relax, dude.
Relax. Like, Jesus Christ. You're talking to us. Like, the fuck?
Well, the thing is, I think Kirk likes the maybe the fact that it could be a surprise, really a good call.
Spontaneity.
Yeah, I like that. I also do like when it's a shitty call when they, when they give an abortion, which
I've been aborting a lot of calls lately.
Oh,
I don't know.
a lot.
I think that says a little more about the calls than.
Yeah, but I think he likes the idea that maybe it could be a good call and comes out of the blue rather than Steve pick and choose which ones he wants to take.
See, I thought he was more upset that Steve knew the call, like what the call was going to be about.
Yeah, it's true.
Because if Justin knows and he just gives him the okay, I thought they were just trying to weed out people who were just listening. Justin did a terrible job of it. You still got dog shit calls come right through, but
hell of a fucking hire.
Great
seems
hire.
Like, seems like another pity hire, like when they hired Mike. Just
fucking over 2. 2 jobs, not post texts. Screen calls. Over 2.
Well, yeah. So you guys just aren't a fan.
Does it have to do with the effects withdrawals? You just start sucking at.
Yes,
what you're supposed to be doing.
Withdrawals. But
makes you super sensitive to the mincel guys and trying to defend yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. Because that's who I want to hitch my wagon to.
They're a bad signal, man. I'm telling you, they're going to be on it.
Yeah, but
I think I'm fucking wrong.
So Gilligan's Island has a trigger warning now. You think the Kirk Minahan show ever gets a trigger warning?
No.
They
had one for Looney Tunes for a while though. It's the same exact thing. It's these were a product of its time, and I think Whoopi used to say it. Before they showed with Looney Tunes, Whoopi would show up and be like, "Hey, these things are a product of their times, but ignoring these things is ignoring they ever happened." So.
I think in 5 years, we're going to get to a point where big tech is just going to it's going to be difficult for the show to tweet out certain things just because they'll be labeled in the same group as these other podcasts and these other places. And it's just everything's taken on. I think the comedy category is going to change dramatically in the next 5 years. I think things are going to be seen as. There's not going to be what's it called? Irony is not going to be a thing. It's just I feel like big tech's just going to get more and more involved, and I could see Apple at some point posting on not just the Kirk Minahan show, but any the Joe Rogan podcast. Before look at what Spotify wants to do with the Joe Rogan podcast now. What they literally want a warning beforehand where people say, "Hey, listen, these facts may not be correct. Not everything should be taken seriously." I think there's going to come a time when people will say, "Oh my God, there needs to be a trigger warning to let people know that it's not actually Donald Trump calling in to call Justin a fat ass. It's all parody." And I think it's going to start off slow. I think it's going to be hey, the big podcast. I think there's going to be Chapo Trap House or Come Town or something like that. it's going to start off with them, and then it's eventually going to trickle down. And I do think podcasts like the Kirk Minahan Show are eventually going to have a trigger. I don't know what a trigger warning will do, if it will help, if it will, deter anyone or not. But I do think trigger warnings are becoming more and more commonplace. I mean,
Well, the good thing about that, Justin, is based on your track record, you'll be fired by then. So you really won't have to worry much about it. But
so it's
That's like a moot point. No, I think instead of irony being at risk, I bet you sarcasm is going to go out the door.
yes.
Sarcasm you can't, people just, especially online, like it's hard to pick up on sarcasm online just through like text message or on Twitter usually. But usually the spoken word, they're pretty good about it. But if you can keep a bit going, that's super sarcastic, a lot of people can't tell the difference.
Well, I mean, you just look at like the certain bits, like, the Mike fucking his mom bit or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I could definitely see someone at Apple or I'm not talking right now. I think trigger warnings are coming. I think like Pardon My Take will have trigger warnings. I think the Dave Portnoy
Really?
Show, yes. I think everything's going to have.
Pardon my take.
Yes. I think everything's.
it's a reach. But hey,
Pardon my take. Like,
I mean, would you have thought that Gilligan's
what are they going to
Island?
say? Like,
Would you have thought Gilligan's Island?
some
would
of
have-
these gambling picks aren't going to be correct. Like, that's a great disclaimer. Like,
I mean, I mean, would you have thought Gilligan's Island would have trigger warnings before it?
well, yeah, because it's from the 60s.
no shit.
Shit, anything before like 2000 had politically correct stuff everywhere. It's riddled with politically incorrect stuff.
Yeah,
Every show from that era is.
I'm just saying. I think.
I mean,
shows-
does All in the Family have a disclaimer?
Yeah, that's
before?
what I was
If it
just about to
doesn't,
say.
I'm surprised it hasn't.
Yes, I was just.
That
gonna
should be
say
next up on the list. Like I'm not surprised that the shows from way back when you could just loosely say stuff that I'm sure Commander Tom wanted to say the whole time.
Oh,
Like,
you know,
I'm
he
sure
was-
that's
He was struggling.
I'm sure that's what that they're obviously aiming for. Like I'm sure Gilligan drops some like ethnic slurs from time to time. Like, what? I'm serious. It was the 60s. That's just what they did.
You notice how he smiled when he was talking about lighting up those holes that they were hiding in?
I don't know. But so
Steve's made this show very difficult.
the stigma around jerking off. Do you guys still think it exists? Because I don't think. It
No.
exists. No. I think it's
I found it funny that guy sitting there the whole time being like, there's a stigma, you should not care about it, shouldn't be uncomfortable. And they're like, oh, so what do you do when you jerk off? And he's like, I don't want to talk about that.
He's like, what did Kirk say? He's like, do you announce it to your family? Like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
but
jerk-
then he just
Dad's
clammed
gotta
around
go
and was like,
jerk off
he's like,
real
I don't really want to talk about that.
He's like, well, because people like what do you say? He's like,
He's like,
don't-
I respect the stigma. It's just
He's
like,
like, I
what?
respect that other people have the stigma, and it's just like that doesn't make any sense to me. But I definitely think in my
what the fuck are
generation,
you preaching to us for? Like,
I don't know. We talk about it in like a joking way or in a real way. I don't know.
I think it's just like everyone does it.
I'm never like, oh, let me go text my dad, like, hey, be right back. Gotta go jerk off.
You know,
But, like,
I can honestly remember when I was a kid, my father never but I laugh about it. Like I'll drop jokes to my kid all the time, but my father would never say anything like that when I was a kid.
No, I've never had that conversation with my dad either.
But I ask my kid, did you ruin any socks today? Like I'll ask him shit all the time. Like I don't care. I think it's funny.
yeah, I feel like it's just gonna get more and
Yeah,
more. And I think
it's just-
that guy's in what, his 60s.
Yeah, he said he was about 60.
So I think it's
Just
just
like that's my parents' age. So,
But,
I also can't picture my father. So he would have been 72 now. Like I can't picture my father.
before he
like
killed
me.
him, right?
Yeah, laying in bed, looking at like an old, I don't know what they had back then,
Hustler.
like a J.C. Penney catalog, throwing some nut butter on his belly, and then running to the bathroom before anyone's seen him. Like I can't picture my father doing that. It probably would have been great.
But he did. I mean, that's
He
the
probably
thing. Like,
did.
He
Probably
did.
did.
Thanks to and he was ashamed of it. Thanks to Freud. I don't know if you remember that part, but the Enlightenment changed us, Steve.
It did. What else you got,
It
Justin?
did.
The last thing I want to touch on before we get to the final question I have is this whole to keep it on the jerking off subject.
Nut butter.
Do you guys go bare hand to bare dick, or are you like Kirk?
Yeah, what
where-
the fuck was that? Like, that's psychopath shit.
I like feeling the calluses on my hand. So I
that
go
was
flat out. I
have like
put
a-
nothing.
Do you have like a really like rough looking dick? Like
Dick?
all the calluses?
Oh, it's smooth. Like,
It just seems like it'd be all cut up.
I cannot picture in my life running to go get a bottle of lube or like that. Just makes no sense to me. It really doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's not even that it's a bottle of lube.
I can't mimic a vagina with my fist.
He grabs like a shirt or like a sock or like.
Oh, that's fucking
like
crazy.
his boxers. That's just weird.
Like, who could fuck us? That's like there's people that actually fuck their pillow. That seems insane.
Yeah.
I had a roommate in college who used to do that. We walked in and he was a real fucking weird kid. We walked in on it like in his room one time and he just had a fucking pillow with a hole in it.
I had kids.
Holy shit! Like,
So
this
the
dude's fucking his pillow.
The thing in my generation was we had kids in school that would just beat off in the middle of class. I swear to God, they would take a jacket, put it over them, and then they would just start beating off in class. And then I remember when I was a senior, I asked the teacher, I go, "Hey, do you know so and so just beats off in class?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah." I don't know what the fuck to do about it.
What an awful person this guy is, huh?
He's like,
no wonder why you're sharing fucking text messages. You're just gonna run up, teacher.
Rat. What a
Jimmy's masturbating. Did you know that?
Everyone knew it. Everyone knew it. It would just be kind of like
just took it upon yourself to rat the guy out though. That's telling. Like you told about Mike calling you, reaching out about drugs. You're just like, I don't know, man. Like I wouldn't tell you much going on in my life. I'd be afraid. Like and now I think about it in retrospect. Like you're fucking like loose lips. That's fine. Though. You're a good guy. You're just kind of like a snake, but it's fine.
Just like a scumbag, I guess. I don't know.
Just like an overall shitty person, but
just a bad person. Like I don't.
Yeah. Well. Okay. So that was
build shitty decks. People shitty people.
Oh. Okay. Well, we're not getting there. So.
He's got rhino skin.
Last thing I want to say is, on the Dave Portnoy show at the end, Dave was asked, "Would you rather be roommates with Kirk or Stu Feiner?" I don't know if you guys know who Stu Feiner is.
I don't know who Stu is. That's the thing.
He's the bald guy on the gambling show they always have.
The old man that they brought that was in like the 80s.
Yeah.
90s. Okay. Yeah. The old guy. Okay.
Yeah. And my question for you guys was, if you could pick between, I guess we'll even add Carano into this, between Kirk, Steve, Mike, and Carano to be a roommate in college, who would you choose?
Oof. I probably have a lot more in common with Steve as far as like outdoors shit, and I would probably choose Steve.
I think Steve would just be a little uptight, like, and he'd be super passive aggressive and stuff. I'd room with Mike.
He also said he did a lot of drugs in college, so he would probably.
Yeah, he did like shrooms,
LSD and shit. You see those pictures with the tie-dye shirts and stuff?
Yeah, he's at like a Grateful Dead show or whatever.
Yeah.
Carano he tells stories on his Quantum Week podcast. I don't know if our viewers have heard of it, but he tells like he was in like a Glee dorm where they just like they would break out into song in the common room.
I was fucking
so legit. He was like, dude, we would like rage, but then they'd like go out and like someone would come like like have like their backpack and start like boom 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 boom, and then they'd just like start a show tune.
Yeah.
I would not want anything like that in my life.
No. That does not.
That sounds fucking awful.
I could be.
I feel like Mike would be real low key. He kind of gets some laughs because he's blind.
Yeah,
and I think it could be fun.
I'd like to live kind of be the warthog, because that's kind of what the warthog was.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the warthog. Yeah, he's a bundle of fun.
So anyway, thanks for joining.
All right.
Do you have anything else, Justin? Anything you want to get off your chest?
Yeah. Anyone else's information you want to talk about before we get out of here? Anyone's personal things?
Do you have anyone social you want to give out, or?
No.
Anything else?
Did the commander share anything else with you that you think would be funny?
Did the commander share anything else with me?
Off screen, on screen, anything? Any good stories? Any knee slappers?
The first thing I did when I sat down is he started offering me beers and shots, and I was like, "Oh, no, thanks."
Obviously, he didn't offer you a mask because he didn't have one on the whole fucking
Not a lot. He didn't know how to wear it.
Guy was using it to fucking wipe his nose.
Oh, sorry. Anyways.
All right, Justin.
That's that.
All right, thank you, Justin.
Description to buy raffle tickets. I'll see you guys.